Welcome to the Place to Be Free podcast. I'm your host, Martha Blessing. I'm an energy intuitive, healer, spiritual channel, and a healing mentor and guide. I'm driven by the purpose of illuminating the potential in others to live their personal power, well-being, and sovereignty by connecting them to the truth within themselves. To explore my work or connect with me, you can visit marthablessing.com. If you feel called to support the podcast, please leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts. I so appreciate your presence here, and I'm honored to serve as a guide or companion on your path. Now, on to the episode. Welcome back to the podcast. Buckle up. I am really going deep today, and you're going to get some really hardcore facts and truths about healing. And I'm going to share with you some things that have happened recently in my life and what has inspired me to go deeper and talk about this, and how do we regenerate cells and tissues in our body, and how do we create healing for ourselves. And let me just start by saying, if you've listened to any of the podcasts and you understand metaphysical healing, energy healing, holographic healing, intelligent substance, and the universal laws, like we are energy, we are spirit. It's proven, okay, for all of those who think this is all new agey and wiki woo. I can go back and cite you places in the Bible, and I'm not even a religious Bible beater, but I can cite you the spiritual, energetic places in the Bible that make this a fact, not just conjecture. So, why am I all up in arms? Infinite intelligence, divine healing intelligence. It is everything that the world is made of and from. We are in it, we are of it. It is the one mind. If you're not familiar with that, or you kind of dance around it like it's spiritually cool to say that word and use that word, but you don't have a personal experience with it, now is the time to practice and create one, because that is your door in to not only your physical healing, but your spiritual, mental, emotional, everything that you desire is in intelligent substance, not out there, but in you. In you. Please go and grab the Inner Spark. It's free on the website to start connecting with and feeling that living, breathing essence that is in you, that is your key to your healing. So what is inspiring this? I got really pissed off about a week or so ago. And you may have heard some of the podcasts on this. I've been dealing with a tooth issue for, quite honestly, it's been going on for 2 years. And you think, well, geez, she does all this work in healing, is intuitive, and why would that be so? Well, we don't always trust ourselves, right? We don't always act on our guidance, on the spiritual guidance. So I had this sneaking suspicion, quite honestly, about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And we were still coming out of COVID. And quite honestly, I don't know what happened. I don't know why I didn't focus more on this. I think I was focused on the metaphysical, energetic aspect. Like I was focused on the meaning, the numbers of the tooth, right? It was my number 2 and my number 3 tooth. So I was focused more on where was I necessarily out of alignment, or what was this trying to teach me when I would focus on it. But I was, quite honestly, I had separated, and I'll go more into this in another podcast, but I had separated the idea that my teeth, like we go to the dentist, it's separate, right? Like I wasn't thinking of my tooth and my teeth as a living organism. Anyone who's struggling with any kind of dental issues, and they're talking about root canals and all this other kind of stuff, like your tooth is living tissue. I think we think because it's so dense in its bone, but it's a living, breathing part of our bodies. And our teeth are connected to everything. They're connected to meridians, to organs. So I was seeing this, and I haven't scripted this podcast, so I may wander off in different directions, but I will bring it all back around. Okay. Which is what I always do. I was focused looking at one of the soul light healing holograms. So I work with, in my energy healing, I work with energetic grids and patterns in a matrix in the field of consciousness, in the field of intelligent substance. It's holographic healing, coherent healing, and aligning with our frequency, our soul's frequency in the field and the field of creation, like what we came here to do and be and have. So I was focused on that, and I was looking at this ancestral tether that was related and sort of tied to the teeth. So I was not really focused on the 3D part of the healing. And it started about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I got my teeth straightened. I was wearing Invisalign. And I kept going to the dentist. I had this pocket between my number 2 and my number 3 tooth, which, if you don't know your numbers, it's up in the right upper back in the molars. And every time I wore the Invisalign, the plastic would push up against the gum between these teeth, and it was creating problems with the gum. So I'd go get cleanings, all this stuff. And quite honestly, I gave my power away for a year and a half. I gave my intuitive hits. Like I'd show up at the dentist with my intuition, but I was expecting them to give me an answer, and they didn't. They just kept saying, well, you have bone loss and there's a pocket. And I kept hearing that, and I was like, I was not understanding, but why? Like, why do I have bone loss? That's not normal. No one could give me a reason. So I just kept saying that I felt like this space was created and this issue was created from the Invisalign, and nobody said anything about it. They just acted like this was normal. Fast forward, the number 3 tooth, I did 2 rounds of antibiotics. And for me to take an antibiotic has to be a really serious thing. But I was like, I was not focused. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't thinking of my tooth as being this living substance. Well, I went recently and they said, oh, you need a root canal. And I said, but a root canal isn't going to solve the problem. And that is that there's bone loss and there is a pocket. What is causing this pocket? And nobody ever answered that. And I'm still intuitively thinking it's related to this wearing the retainer at night. So I said to the dentist, I said, what's the point of getting a root canal if we're not addressing the core cause, the underlying cause, which is the bone loss in the pocket? And I had to say that, and I had to beg him, and I had to ask for a referral to the periodontist. So I go to the periodontist. I was there for over an hour. They took all these films. She gave me a completely different recommendation. She said, I think you should pull the teeth and get an implant put in. She had no idea who she was talking to. I wouldn't even let them leave a titanium marker in my breast when they wanted to do a breast biopsy. Intuitively, I thought that just doesn't make sense to me, these implants, just because we have science and modern and all these updates, just because we have them doesn't mean it's something we need and should do. And I have suspicions about putting a titanium screw into my body, into my gums, especially because they are so vascular, right? It's just a vehicle. It's literally a superhighway for germs when they do things like that. So why am I telling you this backstory? What is it leading to? All of a sudden it hit me. I walked out of that office, and I walked out of the office, and quite honestly, I sat in my car and I cried, because no one was giving me an answer. And finally, I got angry and I got mad, and I really kind of got mad at them, but I got mad at myself. And I thought to myself, what the hell are you doing, Martha? What is your problem that you are not addressing this in the ways that I know how to address it? Well, the getting pissed off really, that inspires me, right? When I feel like I'm being taken advantage of by them. So now I look that way, not only in the medical community. Don't get me wrong. Again, if I break my leg or there's something emergent, but this was not making sense to me. Nobody had answers. And they were basically telling me that this was just normal, that my teeth and my mouth and my gums were going to decay. And I'm like, this just doesn't make sense to me. So I came home and I literally sat in meditation for a couple of hours. And then I got online and I started researching. I found the holistic tooth fairy. I literally spent the entire next 24 hours researching. I grabbed onto a couple of books, and it just inspired me, and it made me remember, and it made me realize this, they want to do a root canal, and the tooth is living tissue. It is filled with blood vessels and vascular networks to supply nutrients to the tooth. And I got into really focusing on this. And then I started thinking about the fact that when we have, like, read the mouthwashes and read the toothpaste, it says, don't swallow. This can be harmful if swallowed. Well, never mind swallowing it. Your mouth and your gums are so vascular that just by brushing your teeth and swishing this stuff in your mouth, it's going right into your system. It's going right into your system, into your blood vessels and into your body. So I thought to myself, oh my gosh, what do I want to, because I was having pain and my gums were really swollen. I mean, I'm not a bad dental patient. That's what bothered me. It was like, why has no one dealt with this? What's causing the infection? What's causing the pocket? What's causing all of this stuff? So I started my own routine. I armed myself with, fortunately, I already had a ton of essential oils. So I've been using that. I literally managed to clean out, get this pocket cleaned out. The gums are healing. Like it's night and day. Within, I would say, probably 48 hours, it was 75% improved. 75% improved. But the other thing that I want to talk about is the regeneration of cells and tissues. We don't think about this, right? The tooth, it's bone, it's hard. We don't think that it's a part of our body, but it is. And so part of what I do in my healing is in connecting to intelligent substance, to the infinite intelligence. We are in it and of it and created from it, right? Our soul incarnates into this 3D body. But think about the process of, an egg and a sperm. Like, this is the magic of infinite intelligence. The egg and the sperm come together. How on earth do they create a human being inside of another human being? Think about that. The magnitude of that. That is intelligent substance. That is divine, call it God, call it source, call it spirit, call it whatever you want to call it. The word doesn't matter. It is the one mind. It is thinking substance. This is the most important part of this episode in this podcast, is it is thinking substance. My body is thinking substance from the field of consciousness and divine intelligence. That one mind. Because, when the fetus is in utero, like, mom doesn't have to focus and direct the baby to grow. It does it on its own. You don't talk to your hair, teach your hair or your nails how to grow. It is that divine intelligence of the one mind, the thinking substance, that makes it happen. And this is how and where all healing happens. So it's in you because you come from that. You'll return to that when you change and transform from your physical 3D body back into energy and spirit. So connecting to, it's why I'm so anal, ballistic, whatever you want to call it. It's why I'm so passionate and intense about teaching people stillness and listening and connecting to that higher self, because that is your essence. That is your one mind in you that already is in perfect and divine health and well-being. That's where you came from. Light bulbs went off, right? I got reconnected to the idea that my tooth is, and my mouth and my gums is that one mind thinking substance. And it knows how to, because what was really bothering me was the fact that they kept talking about bone loss, bone loss, bone loss. Well, we know how to regenerate bone. Like it was almost like a death sentence, right? Like it was such a negative seed that they had planted in my being for the last year and a half about, well, it's because of this bone loss. And I thought, wait a minute, my body knows how to make bone. It knows how to regenerate bone and cells and tissue. When you break your leg, yes, you might go to the doctor, they might put a cast on, but guess what? Your body is inside regenerating new bone and new cells from what? Your blood, your bone marrow. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. I know how to regenerate bone. My body knows how to regenerate bone. You can connect to one mind intelligent substance within yourself, and you can connect to one mind intelligent substance in the field. That's how I actually do my remote healing. I am connecting to you and the one substance in me and in the field, and it all comes together. That's my ability. So I have the ability to do it for myself as well. So now I have been sitting, I am doing and making some changes in my nutritional, in the foods and the things that I eat, in my nutritional aspects to help with building bone, right? Collagen. There's a lot of different things, right? That could be another podcast. I will go into some of the specifics. I will also, though, leave some links to the books, the 2 books that I've been listening and following. So I'm sitting in my stillness now. I'm connecting in the field of substance, and I'm actually mentally, spiritually, energetically focusing on, I visualize this really sort of pearly, high vibrational light frequency, sort of an iridescent opaly white substance filling my tooth, my teeth, my bone, rebuilding a matrix of bone, rebuilding the matrix of bone in my mouth, along with the diet and the physical things. I'm also using a lot of essential oils and different things. So killing the infection and then rebuilding the bone. You know how to do this. You can do this. If you don't know how to do this, reach out to me. I will teach you. But the 2 meditations that are on the website that are free are a very, very good start to doing that. Practicing stillness. The course, Unlock the Missing Piece, goes step by step. It gives you all of the guided materials on the website. There's 4 modules. Gives you all, I'll leave you a link again in the show notes to teach you exactly how to be in the stillness, no matter how bad you feel your anxiety is. Connect with the healing one mind intelligence within yourself, the energetic presence within you. The first step, your transformational takeaway, is number 1, acknowledge that your body has infinite intelligence and wisdom and energy and spirit, and it knows how to be healthy. Number 2, practice stillness, practice connecting to that essence that is you, in you, as you. You might get in some resistance in the beginning. It's okay. The more you do it, the easier it gets. And eventually your subconscious mind will stop fighting you, because you'll create a new pattern. You're creating a new neural pathway for your body to heal. So feel it. Acknowledge that energy within yourself. It's in you. You're not trying to connect to something outside of you. Yes, it is out there, but it's inside of you. The only reason I connect to it out in the field is because I'm channeling and I'm doing healing for many different people. And the field is what connects me to the clients when I'm working on that. That's what the interwoven connectiveness of the consciousness allows me to do that remote distance work and pick up my clients' frequencies. But you do not have to tap into something like the vortex out there. No, it's the vortex in you. Feel it and acknowledge it. If you don't feel it in the beginning, that is okay. That is okay. The more you practice anything, the better you will get. Get out of your head and just be in the stillness, and you will start to feel it. And then the last step is to have your intention and your visualization, right? Like I'm sitting and my intention is I'm connected to divine intelligence source, infinite intelligence, and that one mind. I'm connecting to it and I'm focusing on it. And I am filling myself up with that feeling and allowing it to expand throughout my body. The love meditation is really, really good on the website for practicing that. I'm allowing it to expand and fill my body. And I'm allowing my intention to be focused on the bone is regenerating, the bone is regenerating, the bone is regenerating. And I am feeling and believing as it is already done. I'm literally seeing, picturing, visualizing, and then being in a state of joy and expectancy that it's already done. It's already here because God doesn't make any mistakes. There's no mistakes. And so I'm seeing that tooth healed. I'm seeing that pocket closed up. I'm seeing pink, healthy gums. And sometimes it's several times a day, morning, noon, and night. And I also have an affirmation. I use this when I treat in my sessions with clients. And that is that I surrender and turn whatever it is over to the soul light, the divine light, the Christ light, whatever you want to call it, infinite light, universal light. I turn it over to that light and that presence within myself to transform whatever it is. That is a statement of faith. That is a statement of deep, deep faith. Faith is not show me first and then I'll believe it. Faith is believing in the unseen. So I'm giving thanks ahead of time. I'm turning this burden over to the light, the substance in me, to transform it, to transcend it, to correct it. And I finish with, so it is. It is done, so it is. So stay tuned. I will have some more updates about what happens in this adventure with my tooth. If you want help and guidance, if you would like to have assistance in healing and regenerating your body and your health and your well-being, please reach out to me. You can find me on the website at marthablessing.com. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to the Place to Be Free podcast. And if you liked what you heard and you want to know more, go to marthablessing.com/free stuff.